I love this movie. I'm Tim Heidecker, and you're watching On Cinema at the Cinema. Quiet on set! It's On Cinema at the Cinema with me, your host, Tim Heidecker. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our new season of On Cinema at the Cinema. I am Tim Heidecker, and you're watching On Cinema at the Cinema. Season 5 with my guest, Greg Turkington, is back.
Hey guys, good to be here, back in the seat.
Thank you very much. It's been a long time, and it's fun to be back with you.
Too long.
And before we get into the movies, thought we could just get a little update on what's been going on with you.
500 movies in 500 days. Still plugging away at it. We're getting there. Pretty soon we'll have some good news as I enter the Guinness Book of World Records.
And so how close are you? What number are you at right now?
We had a little setback. I actually lost the list where I was tabulating
I remember that, yeah.
the movies. So that was 127 movies on that list. So I kind of had to start from scratch to make it honest. So since I started the new list, we're at 141. So we're actually making some good progress. If I find the original list, we can add that to the 141, and then I'll be at 268, and we'll really be on our way. So still looking for the list.
Cool. Well, as for me, I relocated to Jackson Hole, Wyoming, which is where I now live, about 3/4 of the year. And I got myself a Kawasaki motorcycle. It's one of the best motorcycles there are. And I've been riding that around.
I didn't know you were in Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Yeah, I needed to get out of the whole Hollywood scene and the whole LA lifestyle and sort of get back to nature, get back to connecting in with some of the rights that I have as a patriot. And I actually did a Patriot ride from Jackson Hole to LA. Got in yesterday to start doing this season of the show. And, I'm sure I'll get a lot of complaints about this. I let my beard grow out, which has been fun.
You look like Orson Welles. Same sort of beard. And of course, he was well known for being Nostradamus. Of course, Nostradamus had the gift of predicting the future, which is something I wish I had, because then I'd know when the new Hobbit movie's coming out.
Well, you know when the next Hobbit movie's coming out. They put that news out months in advance. You don't need Nostradamus.
But they changed the dates.
Since we kind of missed that first round of summer movies, unfortunately, we of course saw them, and we just want to give you a brief...
I was going to say, I didn't miss them.
No, I mean, we didn't get a chance to be on the air talking about them. I just want to quickly run through the movies that we gave 5 bags of popcorn.
Sure.
Captain America, X-Men, Days of Future Past, Godzilla. Godzilla. Okay, 5 bags of popcorn. A Million Ways to Die in the West. 5 bags of popcorn. Neighbors, Spider-Man Blended, all get the 5 bags of popcorn. And 22 Jump Street, where Jonah Hill gave 5 bags of popcorn from On Cinema at the Cinema. 2 bags of soda.
And maybe throwing a beach ball too.
Okay, summer movies. So a lot of great movies this summer, and we recommend you see all of them right now.
Yeah, set aside some time. There's things to do in the summer, the beach and swimming and that sort of thing, but nothing beats a good old-fashioned movie.
Yeah, and if you're in a hot zone, if you're in a hot part of the country, what better way to get some free air conditioning than seeing a movie? Again,
and
Captain
some popcorn.
All right, let's talk about the movies coming to theaters this weekend. Deliver Us from Evil, directed by Scott Derrickson, directed by and starring Eric Bana, Edgar Ramirez, Oliva Munn. It's just Munn. Oliver Munn. So we have a New York police officer joins forces with a priest schooled in the rituals of exorcism to combat possessions terrorizing the city. So this is a very scary movie, a very frightening movie, horror movie of the kind of horror movie I love, and I give it 5 bags of popcorn.
I liked it a lot too. It wasn't The Exorcist, and it's very similar. Think, if you will, imagine The Exorcist set in New York City, and I think you get an idea of what we're dealing with here. I'd give it 5 bags of popcorn, 5 scary bags of popcorn, because it's a little frightening. All
right, so go see Deliver Us from Evil. Deliver Us. I was going to add Deliver Us to the movie if you're a UPS driver.
Don't go see it late at night though, because it might be a little scary walking back to your car after seeing something like this. It's that type of film.
Okay, and Tammy directed Ben Falcon with Melissa McCarthy, Susan Sarandon, and Dan Aykroyd.
Elwood Blues is back.
Yeah.
35th anniversary of the Blues Brothers this year, and so it's kind of cool to see him back on the screen. He's really a master of the blues, Elwood, but in this movie he's not doing the Elwood blues thing completely, but it's hard to get that out of your mind, you know? So it's kind of distracting gets in the way of
Well,
the
let me just-
actual
let me-
plot. But
Let me read what the movie's about, and then we could talk about whatever you want to talk about. After losing her job, and learning that her husband has been unfaithful, so a woman hits the road with her profane, hard-drinking grandmother by Tammy. Okay. This is a comedy directed by Ben Falcon, and it is starring Melissa McCarthy. It's one of those movies that you got to see. It's hilarious. I laughed my ass off, pardon the French, the whole way through.
well, I mean, if you like the Blues Brothers, it has some of those elements. You've got the road trip angle. You don't have enough music. Dan Aykroyd's an accomplished harmonica player and a great singer. I would have preferred a little more music, but I still like the movie. It's very, very funny.
It's interesting
very
you
funny.
say it reminds you of Blues Brothers, because if you think about it, Melissa McCarthy is sort of our female version of Jim Belushi. You know, she's got that sort of, she's not skinny, you know, and she's got sort of that mass that makes her sort of that funny, fat, friendly, jolly, sort of like a Santa Claus, but sort of like that Chris Farley, Jim Belushi kind of energy that I think makes her the big star that she is today.
They should have called the movie The Blues Siblings, you know, because she could have been the
Blues
sister, Blues Brothers, and Blues Brother and
Sisters.
sister.
If you want to do
well,
Blues
but
Sisters.
Elwood wouldn't be the sister.
But
so
he
yeah.
would cross-dress, and you'd do one of those sort of Monty Python kind of thing.
That's kind of getting away
cross-dressing.
from the spirit of the Blues Brothers.
I love this movie. I give it 6 bags of popcorn and some maybe, 3 bags of soda.
If we had a scale that went to 6 bags, I'd give it 6 bags. Our scale goes to 5 bags of popcorn, and I will award it the 5 bags. I'm going to throw in a little miniature toy harmonica so you can learn how to play like Elwood Blues yourself at home.
All right, well, another season is here, and now for our first of many popcorn classics with Greg Turkington. Greg, what did you bring us today?
Well, this is going to be a fun popcorn
We'll let
classic.
the thing run.
This is going to be a fun popcorn classic because, as I mentioned, it's the 35th anniversary of the Blues Brothers. So, I think you're going to like this, Tim. I brought an original Elwood Blues hat and glasses. Rubber biscuit, anyone? To present today's popcorn classic, which is probably not going to be a big surprise to anyone, is the immortal Blues Brothers 2000 from 2000. Of course.
Let me say something about this. I hate this, what they did with this, because Dan Aykroyd, of course, but John Goodman is not a blues brother. They had the opportunity to work with Jim. Hold on, I'm talking about this now, because I'm glad you brought this up. Jim Belushi should have been offered that part as the brother in that movie. It makes sense if somebody dies, like John Belushi who had died because of drugs. When that brother is waiting in the wings. He looks exactly like him. You might as well use him.
Yeah, but Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi were never real brothers. They were blues brothers. So you can have other blues brothers in life. John Goodman, I think, is a legitimate blues brother from Dan Aykroyd. And some of these other guys, you've got James Brown, B.B. King, the Blues Brothers Band, Paul Schaefer. These are all blues people. And this is a blues movie, and I love it, and it will cure the blues. I think it's better than the original. I'd like to see Blues Brothers 2014, maybe later this year. We can only pray.
All right. Thanks for watching. Oh, bring the lights up. Big news. Take that off. You're done with your segment. It's embarrassing. Take it off. Big news for Decker fans out there. I would like to announce that a Decker miniseries is coming to the internet. We're just getting
Who's
into
doing that?
Stay tuned for more information, but Decker, the miniseries, is coming to web television this summer. Thank you. No matter who's doing it, okay? It's going to be a big hit. You should learn a lesson about how to behave. And you got to start clearing popcorn classics with me, because that doesn't belong on the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. I'm your host, Tim Heidecker. So excited to be back again talking about the new movies of the week. I'm joined by my guest today is Greg Turkington. Greg, thanks for being on the show.
Hey guys, good to be here. And of course, we also sometimes talk about old movies. So this is a fun show.
Okay. Just quickly, before we get into the movies, I wanted to just address something. After last week, people were asking on the internet about something that had happened at the end of our last season of the show that had to deal with Ayaka, who moved back to Japan. And there was an issue that Greg had brought up on the show, a bit of a paternity dispute with her and myself. And I would just like to clear the air and go on the record here and say that that situation has been taken care of. Shortly after learning that news, I handled it in a way that was, I think, mutually beneficial for all parties involved, and sent her the money that she would need for such a procedure. And without saying too much or getting too personal, I would like to assure everybody that that problem has been evacuated, or that's not the right word, taken care of. I've taken care of it. While I stand by my position as a member of the pro-life community, I want to say that I still stand for those ideals, but when push comes to shove, when the situation is, when you are a part of that situation, choices have to be on the table, because there was no way that I was going to be in that situation. So I wanted to clear the air there and know that we are here to have fun and talk about movies. But that's the answer to that. We're not going to talk about it ever again, I hope. And I don't want personal stuff to influence this show. I want the show to be about movies and
Yeah, that's what I've always said.
right. Finally, I'm on the same page with you on that.
People have reality TV if they want that sort of thing. You know,
Right.
they tune in here for movie reviews and for expertise, and that's always what the focus should have been.
All right, well, let's get into this week's movies. First up, so excited this is back. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, directed by Matt Reeves, starring Gary Oldman, Kerry Russell, two names, Andy Serkis. The circus is back with Andy Serkis.
Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus.
What's that?
The Ringling Brothers and Barnum Bailey Circus. If you've ever been to the circus.
This is Serkiss.
Right.
And a growing nation of evolved apes is threatened by human survivors of a virus released on decades earlier. Both sides are brought to the brink of war, which will decide the dominating species. This is a sequel to a prequel, one of the original great movies of all time, Planet of the Apes. This is Dawn of
Charlton
Planet.
Heston.
Charlton Heston from the original Planet of the Apes. And this is better, bigger, smarter, faster, funnier, more exciting, scarier than the original, even the original of the prequel, called Dawn of Planet of the Apes. Or the first prequel name was of Planet of the Apes. Planet of the Apes.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
It was not called Nation of Apes, was it?
Mm-mm.
What was the original sequel of the what was the original prequel sequel called? The
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
No, this is called This is called Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
We're looking for the name of
There's the planet. Well, the
original
reboot
It's called original
was the Planet of the Apes, and then the Rise of the Planet
original
of the Apes.
the original
was
Planet of the Apes with the original of Charlton Heston's Planet of the Apes was just Planet of the Apes. But then
Yeah.
there was Tim Burton's remake called Planet of the Apes. I'm talking about the one that came out 2 years ago with James Franco called, fill in the blank. Know your movie.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Rise of the Planet of the Apes. What's the difference between What's the difference between Rise and Dawn?
I guess you rise. They're rising up, where Dawn is more about what time of day it is.
So, okay. This was a fantastic movie. It's probably going to win Best Picture.
I hope not. If it wins Best Picture, that's probably a sign it's the last one in the series, because that's how they tend to do that. If you remember when Lord of the Rings won Best Picture, and The Hobbit 3 is probably going to win Best Picture. So I'd prefer that this doesn't win Best Picture because I could use another 10 Planet of the Apes movies and then give it Best Picture. That's why I hope Bond never wins Best Picture because I want
that's
that
not going
series
to be
to
a problem.
continue forever.
Bond's never going to win Best Picture. That's obvious.
Well, I
Bad
think
movies.
the final Bond will win Best Picture.
There's not going to be a final Bond because it's
Good,
cheap.
because they're going to keep making them.
They'll keep making them because dumb sheeple like you keep going and buying into that crap.
I mean, that's like calling Star Wars people sheeple, which is...
I do.
Well,
Okay, Rise of the Planet of the Apes gets 5 bags of popcorn and 2 sodas.
I'm going to give it 5 bags of popcorn and a banana cream pie because apes do like bananas.
All right, and speaking of apes, the next film is And So It Goes, directed by Robert Reiner, starring Michael Douglas and Diane Keaton.
From The Godfather and The Godfather 2.
This is not a Godfather mafia movie, unfortunately. It's a comedy, which is a self-centered real estate realtor enlists the help of his neighbor when he is left in charge of a granddaughter he never knew existed. And that is a very funny comedy by director Rob Reiner, star of Harry and Sally, and I give it 5 bags of popcorn. It's the funniest movie of the year. I laughed out loud several times, and I enjoyed this movie. Thank you, Rob Reiner.
And so it goes right up to the podium to collect the award. I agree. This is a funny movie. Rob Reiner is long overdue for an Oscar. And Diane Keaton, of course, was in The Godfather, and she's one of our treasures of cinema. So I love the movie, and I'll give it 5 bags, and I'm going to throw in an Oscar.
It's funny, now that I live in Jackson Hole, there's only really one movie theater, and you don't have Starbucks, and you don't have this and that.
Where do you get your coffee?
Well, it's funny, I'm now sort of part of that whole homebrew coffee scene. First of all, coffee tastes a hell of a lot better when you're grinding it at home and making fresh pot every day. I got the shakes now because I'm here in Hollywood and all they have is Starbucks, so I'm left drinking that crap. But when I'm back in Jackson Hole, I'm on my Kawasaki, I'm driving around, and I go to the local store and get eggs and whatever there is available, and it's a better lifestyle. It's clean air.
It doesn't sound good. You're missing lights, camera, and action. We've got all of those here being sort of amongst all the movie magic.
Well, it's like
I don't think you're going to have that in Jackson Hole.
I don't, but in a way, first of all, Robert De Niro lives near, or not Robert De Niro. Who's the guy with the accent?
Dolph Lundgren?
Harrison Ford
Oh.
lives in Jackson Hole. I want to do a new segment, guys, that I've never done before. I'm very excited about it. We shot it earlier, and it's a way to get to know the guests of On Cinema. I wanted to figure out a little bit more about who we are talking to and why they are such huge cinema buffs. And for our first episode of this segment, I've got a chance to talk to one of our resident film buff experts, Greg Turkington, in a segment called On Cinema, at the Cinema, on Guests. Thanks for doing this. Suit looks good on you.
Yeah, it's kind of, I don't understand why you bought me a suit.
Well, I want you to look good. This is a chance for me to get to know you a little better, let the audience know who they're getting all these expert opinions from.
Okay. It's just weird because you didn't buy me a suit for the actual show and then for this weird...
Show's a little more casual. So anyways, so when I talk to you, don't look at me, look into the camera.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Sure.
Let's just
I'll
do a
try
quick
it.
audio test. Just say, hey guys.
Hey guys.
Okay, good. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to ask you some questions about you and your life and your relationship with movies. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, that's my area of expertise.
Maybe instead of answer interesting, let me think about it.
Okay.
So we're just going to kind of talk about movies. Sound good?
Yeah. Interesting. All right, let me think about it.
Well, there's not much to think about. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever seen this movie?
Of course, that's a collector's item. Where'd you find that?
Let's try that again. I just want you to look right in the lens.
Okay. Of course, that's a collector's item. Where'd you find it?
Well, it doesn't matter. Okay. So I'm trying to figure out a way to organize my video collection. Is this something that you feel comfortable giving me advice on?
Yeah, when it comes to movies, I'm the master of codes. I've got an incredible system, which I've explained to you before on the show.
So would you be able to tell me what code this movie would get?
Sure, it's worth a shot. Let me see the movie. So the way to do these codes is you get the first letter of the first
Okay, well, do
word
we
in
just-
the movie title.
I know, I
and
just
then
wanted to
and
see
then
if you'd be able to do it.
Oh yeah, of course. I've done thousands, literally thousands, tens, if not tens of thousands of those in my collection, which I think is one of the biggest collections in the country.
Okay.
So
Thank you very much
yes.
for doing this.
That's an interview? Mm-hmm. Didn't really ask me about my background for reviewing movies or any of that.
Where were you born?
What?
Where were you born? If you wanna know.
I was born in Los Angeles.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. All right. Well, that was very interesting. Learned a lot about you that we didn't know. And you were telling me off camera that you were just recently in the hospital for a couple weeks.
Yeah, during the hiatus I was.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next week. So what was the procedure? Was it?
Just a personal matter.
You're out of the woods now, or?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Sorry. Hi, everybody. My name is Tim Heidecker, and you're watching another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema with your host, Tim Heidecker, talking about new movies coming out this week and giving you our opinion on that movie. My guest is Greg Turkington.
Hey guys, good to be back on cinema. Double on there.
All right. I would like to start, before we give our reviews today, to make a kind of a big announcement. As you guys know, I've been living in Jackson Hole now. It's such a nice, quiet, peaceful lifestyle I have. And I know, Greg, you had said you were in the hospital recently having some organ removed or whatever, but you should think about living in a clean air space like Jackson Hole. I'm not saying you should move to Jackson Hole, but
No, I'm not going to.
anyways, it's been working for me, that clear air. I'm eating right. I've been losing weight. I've been eating a lot of bison, which of course is so rich in amoeba acids. And I've been going on the internet, and I was looking at the On Cinema Facebook page, and I was reading some of these essays that Greg Turkington wrote that you've been posting onto the On Cinema Facebook page.
Yeah.
And I really thought they were terrific.
Thank you.
I thought they were very well written. I compliment you on
They're
that.
very informative, and I put a lot of work into them. So
And I
thanks.
started thinking about, well, what is the one area of the whole entertainment industry that I don't have a foothold in? And it dawned on me, it was publishing.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, I want to have a publishing company and start publishing books. So it is with great pleasure that I announce I'd like to offer you a book deal to release a series, however you want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be, I imagine, a collection of your essays on film.
I would love to do that. I accept your offer. I actually have quite a few essays already written. And
So the way I imagine the whole thing working is, I'm also working on a book of my own called Hog Shots, which is a coffee table book, a photo book of pictures of me on a motorcycle and other motorcycles that I see around town. And it's a beautiful color, large book. I think it's maybe a yay big, all with pictures taken that I just take on my iPhone because the quality's so good. Take even from far away, you take a shot and zoom it in, and you can see the quality of the bike. So Hog Shots will come out, I'll make a ton of money on that, and then fund my second book, which would be your Hollywood movie book.
what if the Hog Shots isn't that popular?
No, well, I'm pretty confident that, I mean, if you look at the numbers of motorcycles sold every year, it's astonishing. And hopefully I'll get somebody like, my dream is to get Tom Cruise for the cover, posing with his bike, and I'm working on that right now. Since I am right now in Hollywood doing the show, I'm capitalizing on that opportunity.
Maybe you should do my book first, and then you can use those funds maybe to do a second movie book, or maybe Hog Shots afterwards, because I'm just worried it's very expensive to print these photo books, and if you lose money on that, then that could be the end of your publishing company, and I don't want to see that because you seem pretty excited about it.
Pretty confident Hog Shots is going to be #1 book in America, be on that New York Times best-selling book list that everybody's crawling to get on. But I'm going to be getting on that list at #1 with Hog Shots. And then depending on how
much is
well,
it going to cost?
I haven't done the math on that.
I just don't think people care that much about photos of motorcycles in parking lots.
That's
Talk
your,
about
if you want to do your own
patriotic
publishing, if
movies.
you want to do your own publishing company, by all means. I thought I saw an opportunity for you, and I extended
Well,
it to you.
it's just
If you
I don't
wanna
think it's
piss on
gonna-
it, then
I just don't think you're going to have more than one book ever come out. So
okay, we'll see. Here to prove you wrong. That's the announcement on the new publishing company, probably called Heidecker Publishing. So if you have ideas for books, let me know. We're always looking for new ideas. All right, let's talk about our movies this week. We have Jupiter Ascending, directed by Andy Wachowski. Lana Wachowski. Again, the same name. There's a mistake here. It should be Andy Wachowski and Lana, some other name that they got wrong here. That stars another f***ing name that I don't get. Mila Kunis. Sean Bean?
Sean Penn.
Yeah, Sean Penn.
Or no, wait, Bean. Yeah,
I don't know
sorry.
what Sean Bean
'Cause
is.
I thought you were mispronouncing Penn, but
In
it's
this-
Bean.
No, I'm not going to mispronounce Penn. This is a B, not a P.
Well, you mispronounced Sean, so.
I think it's supposed to be Sean Bean.
Well, no, it's Sean. Let me see it.
Well, if it was Sean, it'd be
Just let me see what it
S-H-A-W-N.
is. Yeah, that's
Sean.
Sean Bean. It's not Sean Penn.
And the woman Channing Tatum. In the future, a young, destitute human woman gets targeted for assassination by the Queen of the Universe. I know there was a Queen of the Universe. And begins her destiny to finish the Queen's reign. This is an exciting, fascinating superhero sci-fi movie directed by whatever the real director's name is.
And it's a great movie. It's not at all realistic. These aren't things that happen normally in your day-to-day life, but sometimes it's good to escape. That's why we go to the movies and sort of live in a fantasy world for a few minutes. And Mila Kunis provides the eye candy, and there's plenty of CGI, and this is just a fun popcorn movie. I'd give it 5 bags.
I love this movie. I give it 3 bags of popcorn.
3 bags is not very many for this movie.
Yeah, but it's not Oscar. It's not an Oscar contender, so I deduct
Well,
2
that's
bags.
Oscar's fault because this movie's as good as any.
Listen, I love this movie. Don't get me wrong. I recommend everybody go see it, but I'm only going to give it 3 bags of popcorn and 2 sodas.
Well, then I'm going to give it 5 bags of popcorn and 2 more bags of popcorn, which we can slide over to your 3 bags of popcorn so that we each gave it 5 bags of popcorn, because I think you...
No, this is right here is a border. You can't slide bags of popcorn over onto mine.
Well, but I think you really like this movie, and I think
doesn't
you
that-
would give it 5 bags of popcorn, because I've seen you give 5 bags to movies.
The whole
you-
idea of the show is these are my opinions and those are your opinions.
Well, that's my opinion. 5 bags of popcorn plus 2
I'm
more
recommending
bags.
people see it, but I'm not just saying that it's the greatest movie of the
But
year.
3 bags is like, that's
Fine,
a
I'll
bad
give-
rating.
All right, fine. I'll give it 5 bags of popcorn.
Well, you don't need to, because I already gave it 5 plus 2, which moved over to your side, so it's already...
It
you
hasn't
already-
moved, and now we have 5.
It's
So
already covered.
If it moves, then it has 7, which is the best rating it's ever been. It's the best movie of the year.
Which it is.
All right, our second movie today is another sequel. I love these sequels. I love sequels because you test a movie out by making it. You make a movie and you say, does that work? When it does work, you get the all clear ahead, make another one. Make as many as you can. That's true, no truer than today's movie Planes, Fire and Rescue. This is another animated Disney movie of Pixar quality, directed by Roberts Ganaway. Roberts, huh? Should be just Robert. With Dave Cook and Julie Bowman. Bowman. And when the world's famous air racer Dusty learns his engine is damaged and he may never race again, he must shift gears into the world of aerial firefighting. This is a fun action film for kids of all ages, including myself. And my son and I watched this together when he was out visiting last week, and we had such a fun time seeing the movie and also talking about it afterwards when we went to Friendly's for lunch. Greg? I give it 5 bags of popcorn, of course, 2 bags of soda.
Yeah. 5 bags of popcorn. I mean, what can you say? I've seen a lot of movies over the years, and it takes a special movie for me to say afterwards, wow, I've never seen anything like that. And that's what this movie was. So I'm going to give it 5 bags of popcorn and maybe one of those little captain's badges that they used to give kids on the flights, you know, when you take the flight and you were young, the captain would give you a little badge.
All right, now one of my favorite segments, Greg Turkington has come back to us with another edition of On Cinema On Location.
These are my passion, and I'm proud to present this next one.
Hollywood, California. Every street has a story, and these are but just a few on Cinema, On Location.
Hello and welcome to another edition of On Cinema at the Cinema On Location. Today we're in front of a very special location. It's Jerry's house from the movie Oh God, 1977. Jerry, of course, was played by the great, late John Denver. Now, if you've seen the movie, you'll recognize the house. In the movie, it wasn't being fumigated, but you'll recognize the big tree in front of it and just the overall setting. Oh God, 1977, George Burns. Back to you, Tim.
All right, welcome back. Thank you, Greg. That's very interesting to know about the location of Oh God.
Great movie.
Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, Heidecker is coming July 12th. Is this 12th or 17th? I can't read your damn writing. 7 or 2? 2.
It doesn't really
It's
matter.
July 12th. If you think you've seen fireworks on July 12th, you haven't seen anything until you've seen Heideckers.
It's the 17th? Oh, 17th.
Yeah, Heidecker on July 17th. There's a lot of confusion about when Heiddecker's coming. I've just been told it is July 17th. Happy July 17th.
What are you talking about your son? You don't have a
Oh,
son.
I have a 15-year-old boy from a previous marriage. Yeah, well,
I've
old
never heard
news,
of this.
Old news. Yeah, we're estranged. I barely ever see him, but now he's coming up to Jackson Hole once a week because they're down in Tempe.
You were married 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
To who?
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. I'm your host, Tim Heidecker, and it's a show where we talk about movies coming out this week, give you our honest opinions about whether you should see them or not. And I'm with my guest, Greg Turkington,
Hey guys!
who's with me as usual. And I want to acknowledge I was in an accident yesterday on my motorcycle. Quick story, I was just we wrapped our final scene with on Heidecker, which was now all in the can, and we had a really fun wrap party. And thank you, by the way, for all the nice words you said about episode 1 of Heidecker. I'm really happy with it. And,
I didn't say anything nice about it.
Anyways, I was coming home, and when I came out here from Jackson Hole, I basically threw in 3 shirts and just hit the road, hauled ass out of here, got here in 3 days. And so I was like, I didn't really have underwear and socks and everything. So on the way back from the wrap party, I stopped in at a Walmart, and I pulled into the parking lot. And because I'm on my motorcycle, I can park in the handicap spot up front. So I pull into the handicap spot, and I'm idling her down, and some old bitch comes out. She's yelling at me, saying, you shouldn't be allowed to park there. You don't have the thing. I shut up. And so she's yelling at me, and I'm getting pissed off, and I get off the bike, like, because I want to go at her, and my boot gets caught in the saddlebag of the bike. I twist off the bike, and the kickstand was in the wrong spot and didn't hold and clipped out from under the bike. So the bike tipped over, and I spun out around and over the bike, smacked my face up against onto the pavement, and then the bike fell over onto me and my hand and fractured my wrist. And then of course I got all this.
So the bike wasn't even moving?
No, the bike was stationary at this point, although it had been idling. So I dinged up my face. I tore some retina scar. I tore something on my eye, and I already have very poor vision in my left eye, which I've always had since I was a kid. I'm legally blind in my left eye. So at this stage, I cannot see, said the blind man. So, but I did get a chance to see the movies today, and I can read very close up.
You want me to do that?
Yeah, just read those.
Today's movies on Cinema at the Cinema are Wish I Was Here, directed by Zach Braff.
Wish you were here.
Wish I Was Here, starring Zach Braff, Kate Hudson, Josh Gad, and Jim Parsons. This is the story of a struggling actor, father, and husband who's trying to find a purpose in life. After deciding to homeschool his 2 children, he gradually discovers parts of himself he couldn't find. So
I like this movie a lot. I thought it was very introspective and almost kind of almost like a fairy tale. So I give it 5 bags of popcorn.
I thought it was more realistic than a fairy tale. If you've seen something like Snow White and the Seven Dwarves, I mean, there are dwarves, but they're not like those dwarves. It's a different thing. They don't tend to hang out in groups of 7. This was very much like real life and some of the problems that you can encounter in life as you try to get through your day-to-day living. And so I found it very interesting. I would have to say 5 bags of popcorn is appropriate for this, and maybe an Oscar nod.
I think definitely an Oscar nod. It gets my vote for Best Picture of the Year. I think it's also going to be a very popular movie. I think it's going to be a blockbuster. I think it's going to be one of those movies that you'd call a tentpole movie for the whole year. People say it'll be like Avatar.
And it just goes to show you don't need special effects.
Yes,
you
you
don't
do.
need Frankenstein monsters.
If you're doing Avatar,
popping out
you
of a
need special
closet.
effects.
But for something like this, you know, they didn't have Frankenstein. You just need a good story, and I kind of like that about it.
All right, how many bags?
5 bags of popcorn.
Okay, let me read the next one.
And maybe 2 nickels, just something down to earth.
I know it's Hercules because we talked about this earlier. Hercules. Our next movie is Hercules, directed by Brett. Just tell me what that.
Brett Ratner with Dwayne Johnson
no.
and
Okay, Brett. Next movie is Hercules, directed by Brett Ratner and
Dwayne Johnson, John Hurth,
John
and
Hurth,
Ian McShane.
and Ian McShane.
It's the Hercules saga in a new movie.
Having
endured his legendary 12 labors.
endured his legendary 12
labors.
Hercules. All right, so this is a movie about Hercules. One of the, if you remember early, Arnold Schwarzenegger used to play him. I love anything with Hercules or...
Incredible Hulk is another one I always liked for that type of character.
So I give this one 5 bags of popcorn. It's the perfect summer movie if you're looking for just fun popcorn adventure with great special effects and Dwayne Johnson, who is my rock.
He was excellent in this. You know, people say, oh, from that kind of a background, who knows if he can really act? You know, he's not an actor first and foremost. But I would say he is an actor first and foremost in the year 2014, and Oscar may be calling you, Mr. Rock. This is a great movie. 5 bags of popcorn and 2 souvenir rocks.
All right. And for our next movie is Woody Allen's movie. What's it called?
The movie is called Magic in the
Magic in the
Moonlight.
Moonlight, directed by Woody Allen. There's no need to review this. Well, all Woody Allen movies get 5 bags of popcorn. So we're going to turn it over to our resident Woody Allen expert, Joe Estevez, who's got his own take on the master Woody Allen himself. Take it away, Joe.
Hey guys, it's Greg Turkington with On Cinema at the Cinema, and we're here on the Warner Brothers studio backlot in Burbank, California, which I snuck into in order to track down Joe Estevez, who I've been following all day in the hopes of getting hold of him to talk about the new Woody Allen movie. Hold on, I think we see him. Joe! Joe!
Oh, hey.
Hey!
Great, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey,
Good to see you.
I'm doing a new segment where we talk to celebrities about Woody Allen. I know we talked to you before, but this is like a new on the street segment. We just wanted to get your opinion.
Obviously.
I wanted to get your opinion on Woody's new movie. What you thought of it? If you've seen it.
Oh, you know, I'll tell you, anything that Woody Allen does is absolutely fantastic, and his new movie certainly isn't an exception.
Would you say that Oscar is in the cards for Woody?
Always in the cards. Never discount Woody when it becomes Oscar time. You know, because I mean, you know I'm a big fan of it.
How about the supporting cast? Has Woody picked a good one this time around?
Come on, it's Woody Allen. Hey, I gotta run, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks, Joe.
You bet.
All right, Thanks. That's a very interesting perspective on Woody.
Well, Joe's an insider, and he kind of knows what's going on.
Okay. Now time for another popcorn classic with Greg Turkington.
This week on Popcorn Classics, my segment where we look at overlooked movies that are classics, we've got Q&A with Nick Nolte, Timothy Hutton, and Armand Assante. This is your basic cop and robber, shoot 'em up, district attorney type of movie. It was directed by the director of Serpico, Dog Day Afternoon and Network. It's not as good as any of those movies, but still worth a look if you happen to run across it on a Sunday afternoon. So I would recommend Q&A highly. It's a popcorn classic.
Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week on Cinema at the Cinema.
Have you seen Q&A?
No, I haven't. I gotta go, and I got a doctor's appointment for my eye. Can somebody help me out of here? I don't want to get up and walk into the camera. Like the whole point is I don't want to get up and walk in front of. Thank you very much,
If you want to
Greg.
borrow
I'll talk
this.
to you tomorrow. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. I'm your host, Tim Heidecker. With me today to discuss this week's movies is my guest, Greg Turkington. Greg?
Hey guys, good to be here. And Tim, if you need help with a card or anything, I realize you're in a bit of a predicament this week.
Yes, last week, as some of you remember, I was in a pretty bad motorcycle accident in which I lost the sight in my right eye. And some of you know I already have very diminished sight abilities in my left eye. So thank goodness for a company called Lyft, which is a internet service where it provided rides for me to get here today and to see the movies this week. Hear the movies, I should say. So, okay. Thank you. And today's movies are Guardians of the Galaxy, directed by James Gunn. Chris Pratt. Vin Diesel. I can't hear that. Zoe Saldana. Bradley Cooper. And the film is about an American pirate is named Peter Boyle finds himself as the object of a manhunt. After stealing a orb coveted by the village. This was one of those great action movies from Marvel. I love this movie. It was so much fun, so different than your normal Superman, Batman, etc. It sounded great. The sounds of the action and all the explosions and lasers and the sounds of the ship and everything. And I really loved the dialogue. I loved hearing everybody talk about what's going on in the movie. All the words people said were very good, and I love this movie. I give it 5 bags of popcorn and 2 sodas. Greg?
Well, you're only really seeing half the movie, or not seeing any of the movie the way that you're doing it. So I'm not even sure you should be reviewing the movie because it's not. It's not a book on tape.
I find that offensive.
Well, I find it ridiculous that you get in a motorcycle accident on a non-moving vehicle and suddenly you're blind.
But I think anybody, no matter what their predicament, should be able to see the movies that they want to see. And this movie's great for blinds.
But you don't want a deaf person reviewing albums for Rolling Stone. It doesn't make any sense. And that's why I think it might have been a good week for you to take off until you get your vision problem corrected.
We're not on that kind of schedule.
I could have easily hosted the show and talked about these movies and brought in Jimmy McNichol or somebody to actually discuss the movies in depth rather than talking about, what
Can you
you've
talk
heard.
we'll talk about the movie and don't worry about my situation.
Well, I mean, this is a fun, movie. As you said, it does get old to see Superman, things like that, and to have a new cast of characters, as you mentioned, is kind of a thrill. So I liked the movie a lot. I'm glad I could see it, and that makes all the difference. So do go see it, and I would give it 5 bags of popcorn and maybe a cane for the blind.
Well, our next movie on the list this week.
What about your popcorn rating?
I give it 5 bags. Pay attention. Our next movie today is quick. You have to be quicker. Be two-step, because I can talk and hear you at the same time.
Or I can just read the card. And
Don't touch my card. Get On Up. Directed by Date Taylor.
I can just-
Starring who? Chadwick Boseman, David Andrew Lloyd Nelson, and John Atlas. Chronicles of James Brown's life from extreme poverty to being above little citizens of all time. And that's about James Brown. I love this movie. I didn't know anything about James Brown. Not my kind of music. I don't like B.B. King is about as black as I get. And Darius Ruckers. It reminded me of that movie about another blind black man named Ray Charles. It was very similar to the movie Ray with Jamie Foxx. And I loved that movie as much as I loved this movie. And who knew so much about music as did James Brown and all this stuff that he went through. Greg, I give it 5 bags.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the cinematography was really interesting, probably Oscar caliber. And there were a lot of visual elements to the movie that I thought really were special, that I think will stick with people long after this last song fades out at the end. I thought it was a very, very excellent movie. And if you gave his life 5 bags of popcorn, you'd have to give the movie 5 bags of popcorn. And that's what I'm doing here today. And I'll throw in a CD of his greatest hits.
All right. And go, I'm going to think of that song title about Sex Machine. We should have some of his music playing for the end of the show. Anything else? Let's go to an On Cinema, On Location with Greg Turkington. Hurry.
Yes, this is the latest episode of what has become a very popular...
Hollywood, California. Every street has a story, and these are but just a few on Cinema, On Location. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of On Cinema, at the Cinema, On Location. And we're here at a very special location. This is the spot where John Denver's car fills with rain. It's literally raining inside the car. Very cool scene in Oh God from 1977. And because it's raining inside the car, he has no choice but to pull over and, of course, have another encounter with God, played by the great George Burns, one of my favorites. Takes place right here. Back to you, Tim.
Oh, very interesting.
Pretty cool.
So that was another, is that similar to what you did last time with that? Just the Oh God?
It's the same movie, but it was a different location. They shot it in different scenes in the movie, different locations.
Just don't know how many people want to see every location from Oh God.
I think a lot do.
Okay. Well, all right. I'm completely lost. I need somebody to tell me where we're at. Decker, July 31st, coming soon, more episodes of Decker. And thank you very much, and we'll see you guys next week on Cinema. When I say On Cinema, lights go down.
No, the lights are down.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
You don't even see light?
I'm telling you, it's like nothing. It's like a black hole.
Maybe next week we call Jimmy in or something.
Don't worry about it. I schedule the guests. Can I get a little help getting out of here? Oh, watch the f***ing arm. I'm very sore. It's like going into my back now. Okay, thank you. Get my lift guy. Where's my lift driver? It's got a f***ing pink mustache on it. That's how you know. I can't see that. No, you tell me if there's a car out there with a mustache on the front. That's all. Hi, everybody. Welcome to See You Again. My name is Tim Heidecker, and I am the host of On Cinema at the Cinema. Happy to be back with you again for another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. And here with my guest, Greg Turkington. Thank you for being here, Greg. I am so glad, like I said, sort of ironically, to see you again. Because thank you so much to everybody at Hollywood Presbyterian's Eye Department who fixed my eye. And while they were there, they fixed my left eye, so now my vision is 20/20 because of, thank God for LASIK, which, and this was, they took the glass shards out of this eye, so now I can see out of both eyes. So glad to be healthy, happy, and this guy's still healing. That's going to take a little while, as you know. People wondering how Hogshots is going. I've got a bit of an issue coming out with Tom Cruise, who I've made the formal offer to be on the cover, and he has not replied, and I've not heard anything. Even his assistant hasn't replied. And if I don't have him for cover, I've already pre-sold the book to bookstore Chapman's Books in Jackson Hole. I've pre-sold 10 copies of the books under the condition that he is on the cover. So quick little message while, if he's watching, Tom, I don't know what's going on. This is the third time I've reached out to your people about offering you a part in the cover of my book, Hogshots. And I'm at my wit's end because I don't know if you've created too much of a wall around you. You have too many yes men keeping you from getting this kind of information, but I really feel like you're missing out on a great opportunity. But if you don't want to do it, I need to know, because I need to move forward and need to find a star for the cover of my book. At this point, if I can't get you, I'd have to go to somebody like Jack Nicholson, and that is problematic because he doesn't even ride motorcycles anymore because of his age. I'm at a loss, Tom, and I'm afraid that if this continues, it's going to start affecting the reviews that I give your movies. And I know that sounds harsh and unfair, but it's true, because how am I supposed to watch a Tom Cruise movie and not feel anger and resentment towards you? And you're going to start seeing 5-star Tom Cruise movies are going to be more like 2-3 bags of popcorn, which I'd hate to do. So please call me back, get back to me, email me, whatever it takes. I need to hear from you now. Thank you. All right, I won't bore anybody more about Hogshots coming to bookstores next year. First movie is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the remake, starring directed by Jonathan Liebsman, with Megan Fox, Will Arnett, William Fitcher, Johnny Knoxville, and my favorite actress, Whoopi Goldberg, back in the saddle. Whoopi. Darkness has settled over New York City as Shredder and his evil Foot Clan have an iron grip on everything from police to politicians. The Turtles must work with fearless reporter April O'Neil and her cameraman Vern Fernwick to save the city and unravel Shredder's evil plan. I love this movie. It's great to see the Turtles back on the big screen. I know it was one of my favorite shows growing up, and now we have the pleasure of spending a couple hours with them in the movie theater. I was so glad I was able to see this movie with my own beautiful 20/20 vision eyes, and I give it 5 bags of popcorn. Greg, what'd you think?
You know what? I don't really want to say anything about it because anything I say might end up in an episode of Heidecker. So.
Okay. I'm sorry. Was there...
You took the footage. You did this interview with me that I thought was for the show. I thought it was a little weird, but whatever. And then I watched Heidecker, and it's just cut with dialogue for me. You talking to me that you stuck in Heidecker without ever asking.
You don't understand how Hollywood works? That's how it works.
No, you ask someone, do you want to be in Heidecker? And then you film them in Heidecker. You don't steal footage from an On Cinema segment and incorporate it into Heidecker.
First of all, don't
because I didn't agree to be part of Heidecker, and I wouldn't have agreed to it.
All right.
And if I was going to do it, I'd want to act in it. I wouldn't want to just have footage of me answering questions about movie expertise that I have, and then suddenly I'm some weirdo character in Heidecker.
No, you're not a weirdo character. You're an important part. You're a CIA analyst. It's kind of a cool part. You should be proud of that. First of all, I didn't steal anything. As soon as you walk onto this set, anything you say or do is mine. I own it.
Oh, do you have cameras in the toilets too?
No. I'm using things responsibly, and you know that.
It's not responsible if I'm talking about The Godfather 2, and then I watch Heidecker, and there I am talking about some CIA plan that I had no knowledge that you were using my footage.
Yeah, but you're not seeing the big picture.
With Heidecker, there's no big picture.
Oh, give me a break. You're such a baby on this. Do you want me to recut Heidecker without you in it?
Yes.
I can't do that. It's already aired. That footage I can use for whatever I want to use it for. Yes, I can.
I never agreed to that.
You agreed to be a part of the On Cinema family, correct?
Well, being part of a family doesn't mean being raped by Dad, and that's how I feel what you've done to me.
Well, what they say in the business is you're not using the I did what I thought was right for the show.
Stealing
And if
footage.
It's not stealing, Greg. Okay.
I didn't-
Hey. As soon as, like I said, you become part of the realm. You become part of the On Cinema family. You become mine. Everything you do is mine. Okay. And if you don't want to do that, walk off. And I don't ever want to see you
I don't want to
again.
do that because you can't steal
Yes, I
people's
can
work
do-
like that.
You're gonna
It's
walk
not
off?
fair.
You know what?
Well, I
no
don't want
review
to,
for
but
Greg Turkington has no opinion on Teenage Mutant Ninja
5
Turtles.
bags of popcorn.
Huh?
Good day. 5 bags of popcorn.
I'm in my constitutional rights to use whatever footage I
No,
want.
you're not.
That's called the Freedom of Information Act. That's Article 1 of the Constitution specifically identifies.
They didn't
as
have movies
freedom of-
back then, so there's nothing about that.
This is not a movie, it's a mini-series. It is freedom of speech, freedom of self-expression that I own on cinema. And if you want to be a part of that, then you have to be a part of whatever I decide we do. Otherwise, you can go f*** yourself. I was in my rights to use that footage, and I could back that up to the Supreme Court if I need to. And you know it, okay? And what I did with it was something perfect and beautiful. I made you into a great actor, and you'll see people are going to be running up to you asking you for parts in the next movie. You'll be the next Forrest Gump. We don't even have any other movies to talk about. All right, that's it. Get the lights. I did what was right for this show. Now, go to
There's
bed
nothing to do
sleeping.
with this show.
I will
It
go
has
to
nothing
bed
to do with
sleeping
this.
every night. I will go to bed sleeping every night knowing I did the right thing for this show. I did the right thing for Decker. I did the right thing for me. You go f*** yourself. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema with your host, me, Tim Heidecker. And my guest today is one of the guests we've had on the show before, is Greg Turkington.
Hey, guys.
Greg, thanks for being on our show again.
My pleasure.
And I want to thank everybody for tuning in to Decker. Getting almost more positivity about Decker than this show, which makes sense because this show just reviews movies. Decker is a movie or a miniseries, and I'm glad you're a part of it now. And
Yeah, it's a cool show. I mean, I was a little skeptical at first, but I started getting a lot of letters and a lot of comments from people. And
yeah, it's nice to be able to hear when you're wrong on something. I've always sometimes go, I didn't like that, and then you go back and you figure out I was a fool.
Well, I mean, there's things about it that I would have done differently,
Right.
that you should have done differently. But just being in something with Joe Estevez is kind of a cool feather to have in your cap. You know,
For you should be grateful because you ended up not having to do very much work. You should be thanking me that. Anyways, let's talk.
sometimes work is fun when it's shooting a film. Though that seems like the kind of work I'd enjoy.
Some things that aren't hard usually become things that stink. It's my sort of perspective on that. All right. Well, then, thanks for watching, everybody. Oh, you know what? We didn't do the movies. Put the light back on. Sorry. I'm sorry. Let's Be Cops, directed by Luke Greenfield, Nina Dobrev, Jake Johnson, and Damon Wayans Jr. Two pals dress as police officers for a costume party, but when they... I'll be honest with you, I didn't see this one. Let's skip to the one everyone saw. Did
Oh,
you
I
see-
saw it. I saw it. Yeah,
Good?
it's very funny. It's it's your typical summer comedy. It's got flashes of brilliance. The plot's your typical sort of cop, buddy, funny times sort of movie. But I think it's great. And if you only have money to see a couple of summer comedies, make sure this is one of them.
All right. So
5 bags of popcorn.
I give it 5 bags too, based on that review. I'm going to go see it today.
With a couple of little mini donuts, those little mini Hostess donuts, because cops love donuts.
Right, and I love cops. Now, our next movie I did see, this one, The Expendables 3. This is directed by Patrick Hughes, starring Sylvester Stallone, of course, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Wesley Snipes, Mel Gibson, Harrison Ford, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Cruise, Tom
The gang's
Hanks,
all here. I mean, these are the
Harrison
best Hollywood
Ford.
has.
I'm not
to
done
offer.
reading the names here.
Yeah, okay. But it is a good cast.
Starring Sylvester Stallone, Jason Statham, Jet Li, Wesley Snipes, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Jack Lemmon, Paul Newman,
Okay, now you're pulling my
just,
leg. But
Dolph
it is a good
Lundgren.
cast. It is a good cast.
I
is
was
a good
wondering
cast.
if you were paying attention.
Well, I mean, you know, I happen to know my movie trivia as to who's dead and who's alive.
Right,
so-
and I like playing practical jokes on you, and
Okay.
some of the audience must be going, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, it seemed like the practical joke when this real cast was announced.
Right. Well, they all probably just get paid scale because they love doing the work.
Labor of love.
Barney and the rest of the team come face to face with Conrad Stonebanks, one of the original founders of the Expendables, who once thought to be dead is now an arms dealer. To fight him, Barney recruits a new era of Expendables who are younger, faster, and more tech savvy. So it's sort of, this isn't your grandparents' Expendables. This is the new generation. It's sort of that hip-hop generation, web-enabled generation 2.0. And this is my favorite version of Expendables. I think it's a shame. I predict this is an Oscar prediction. It won't win, but it should win. This is one of my won'ts but shoulds. This is Arnold Schwarzenegger's baby. I give Arnold Schwarzenegger 5 bags of popcorn alone, and the movie gets 10 bags.
I'd have to say I'd give it 5 bags of popcorn and 2 little pills that people think are probably steroids, but in fact it's just vitamin C, because I think people unfairly accused Schwarzenegger of using that. He's a guy that spent a lot of time working out, and you put a lot of work into it, you can get those kind of muscles without steroids, and I think that was the case with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I love
and
Arnold.
I like these kind of movies, and rewatching some of the Heidecker stuff, that it's very much in the vein of a movie like this, and it would make a good feature film, is to take the Heidecker stuff, expand on it a little bit,
Expendable on it,
recut
yeah.
it, make it into a movie.
Well, it's a good point. It's funny you bring that up because movies like Expendables 1 and 2, these Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone movies, Chuck Norris even, some of these guys were honestly an inspiration for me when writing Heidecker.
Bond,
And
obviously
not
an
Bond.
inspiration for
Nope.
Heidecker.
Nope.
No?
No.
Just with the intrigue at the higher levels of government?
Nah, because I never really liked that stuff. You know, I like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Expendables.
Bond, James Bond.
Nope.
Okay.
You know I don't like Bond, so stop bringing
It just
up.
seemed like it's kind of got
I
an
know because
international
yeah,
flair.
but so is Jack Reacher, and so are the Jason Bourne movies. The movie with Liam Neeson, one of my favorite actors, called Non-Stop on the Plane, was action adventure CIA spy plot movies. So these are all movies that are better than Bond, and Heidecker does not draw from Bond. Bond is shit, and everybody that watches Bond get on my naughty list.
So a big long list, but hey, we'll agree to disagree on Bond.
So go check out Heidecker now. I give Expendable 3s 5 bags of popcorn.
5 bags of popcorn.
All right, and we're going to check out another On Location with the Greg Turkington.
Hollywood, California. Every street has a story, and these are but just a few on Cinema, On Location. Welcome to another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema On Location. We're here in the supermarket from the movie Oh God. This is the supermarket that John Denver was the manager of. I'm pretty sure it is the same supermarket from Oh God, and he was the manager, and then he met God, played by George Burns. Now it was it was a Food World, and now it's a Fresh and Easy. Back to you.
Okay, so is this a practical joke?
No, it's just a
I don't get the
practical
joke.
way of making a segment, which
No,
is to
every episode,
focus
every
on.
location thing you do has got to be about Oh God.
Well, for season 5 of On Cinema,
funny.
I thought it would be good to.
If you want to do
Build
something
on it.
conceptual like that, you have to clear that with me. The
It's not
audience
that
doesn't wanna
conceptual.
see-
It's
the
my
audience doesn't wanna
segment, and it's
see-
just about different movies
Okay.
and different locations.
God,
And
just when you were figuring out how to behave properly on this show, you stick it to me as some kind of weird concept
there's
joke.
nothing weird about it. I'm just doing the
It
segment.
seems like you're cutting corners. If you don't want to go out and do the work, and
These locations, in some cases, are 20 miles away from each other.
Well,
I'm
and
not
then you're
cutting
wasting
corners.
you're wasting
I
your
spent
time.
quite a bit of bus money getting from one location to the next. I mean, Oh God was a big movie. People love to see
I
Star
have no
Wars
problem
locations.
with doing one segment on Oh God. I have some reservations on 2, but 3 is ridiculous.
Well,
and it
they're
seems
all
like you're
different
making fun
locations.
of
If I
it.
did
Seems like
three,
you're sabotaging the
if
show.
I did 3 segments, it was always the
Okay.
same street corner.
I'm
Yeah,
done
I would
talking
agree
about
with
it.
you.
I'm done
But these are
talking
all
about it.
different locations.
You're bumming me out. That's all. You're just bumming me out. And your segments bum me out, and they ruin the show. I'm sorry. I have a mind to get on my Kawasaki and head back to Jackson Hole and not even finish out this season.
Yeah, well, you'll get on your Kawasaki and fall right off before you even put the key in the ignition.
All right. I have you said you have two segments. Tim's
Mailbag, which is a popular
All right.
segment,
Okay. I'm sorry,
last
Greg.
season,
We're actually not going to be getting to Tim's mailbag today on the
Why?
show. We are wrapping it up right now, but stick around for a new show directly after this. It's On Cinema after On Cinema. And thanks for watching. Watch Decker season finale coming up this week. Thanks for watching, guys.
I don't understand why we have time.
No, we don't, because we had the on location segment, so we have to do this as a separate episode.
But we're still going to do it.
Absolutely, we're going to do it right now.
Okay.
It's On Cinema After Cinema with me, your host, Tim Heidecker. Go. Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of On Cinema After Cinema. It's a show that gets into some of the stuff we weren't able to put into the episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. Today we're going to be, I guess, talking with Greg Turkington here, my guest, about
Tim's mailbag.
some mail that we've got, and we want to go through that. And what do we got?
Well, you know, we get a lot of cards and letters, and keep sending them, by the way. We do enjoy getting them. This was actually a very popular segment last season, and we kept the bag. So every week, hopefully this becomes a recurring segment, I'll pull out a few of the letters.
We do it every
and-
week. But
Well, now that we have this after cinema show, we probably have time. I'll pull out a few letters that came in, and Tim can read them and answer any questions that you might have for him.
Okay.
Here's one from Tracy Adams in Naperville, Illinois.
Naperville, okay. It's out of Chicago. Okay. Loving the Decker episodes, Tim. Greg is a natural. Oh, that's nice. Please
Yeah.
include him in more scenes. Well, nothing to worry about there. We've got a lot more coming your way.
Cool.
All
Thanks,
right,
Tracy.
no question there, so we'll just move on from
Here's
that.
something from England,
Get out.
all the way from the UK.
Wow, it's international suddenly, huh? So they get this in England, too. That's
Nice.
cool. I thought it was just USA. Hello from jolly old England, where Decker, I almost want to do this with an accent. Hello from jolly old England, where Decker is my new favorite show. I won't do an accent. The chemistry between Joe Estevez and Greg is magic. Looking forward to more next season. Sincerely, Graham.
Thanks,
Hey,
Graham. Nice of you to write.
No questions yet.
And it is fun working with Joe Estevez. And then here's one from Sherry in Mesa, Arizona.
There, Arizona, that's where my son lives. Tim, loving you as Decker. Now here we go. Your best work yet. Yep. Okay.
No, just read the letter. We've got the time.
Do you know if Greg would be eligible for a Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor in a TV drama series? No, I don't. It's not my business. It's an internet show. Anyways,
Thanks, Sherry.
all right. Thanks for watching On Cinema After Cinema. See you next week. Now I go home. Is my lift here? Who has a mustache on the front? You'd see it pull up. Okay, I have to call him then. It should be here. It should be here like 20. It should have been here 20 minutes
Take
ago.
the bus.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. I'm your host, Tim Heidecker, and we have another show for you where we celebrate movies and the great movies that come out this week with my guest, Greg Turkington.
Hey guys, good to be here, and congratulations to our host Tim Heidecker for a successful season of Decker.
Well, thank you. I mean,
Which
it's
people are talking about it.
Yeah,
I was
they sure
skeptical,
are.
but man, I'm getting some letters and some cards and some emails, Twitter and things. It's pretty satisfying. It's cool.
well, it was
And-
so fun to do. It was such a fun
It was fun,
project.
definitely.
You conceive of something, then you write it, and you get to produce it and share it with the world. And
And I'd like to share this with you. It's a bouquet of flowers and
Look at this.
champagne.
Oh,
Celebrate a toast
geez.
to Decker.
Look at this. Thank
And
you, Greg.
This is something I think you really like is
What's
first
this?
published review of Decker.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it's a
that.
good one too.
Yeah. Look
Frame,
at this. The
you can put that up
reviewers
in
are
the-
getting reviewed. This is going up on the Wall of Fame. Put this in my saddlebag and take her back to Jackson Hole. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Man.
Never forget your first review, so you want to save that.
Thanks, Greg.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cool item.
I thank everybody for really I shouldn't even get into this because I'm going to start crying. It's just been a really hard couple years, and seeing Decker hit the silver screen has been an honor. And I wouldn't have done it without you.
Yeah, well, thanks. I look forward to doing the next season of Decker and the next season of On Cinema. What's going to happen in Decker 2? Can you give us a little bit of a preview about what my role will be and what's going to happen with the whole gang?
Well, I have been thinking a little bit about season 2 of Decker, and now that we've established this sort of universe, and
Yeah.
now it's time to bring in the big guns. So I want to bring in some real actors who can add sort of their weight to it. I don't know how much I see your character continuing into the future of the series, because I feel like we've played that card, and
But my character is sort of the expert on operations in the CIA.
right.
so he
But I
probably
mean,
would-
I think where the character arc for Decker is, I don't want to give too much away here, you know. But let me put it to you this way: your character is in the CIA. The enemy of Decker in the new stuff is the CIA, so it doesn't make sense that he uses them. So that way, but I did get some nice email from Timothy Hutton, who wants to be a part of Decker 2. So
yeah, it'd be cool to work with him.
we can get your hopes up about Decker 2. Still need you here for the show On Cinema. So, but this is really sweet. Thank you for that. Our review of a movie is Sin City, A Dame to Kill For. Finally, Sin City is back, directed by Frank Miller and Robert Rodriguez, starring Jessica Alba, Mickey Rourke, Rosario Dawson, Bruce Willis, and Jamie King. Sin City is back, and it reminds me of the original Sin City from years ago, and it's really one of my favorite movies. It's dark, it has a noir quality to it, and I loved it. I give it 5 bags of popcorn. And what I loved about it was I used my On Cinema app to remind myself about the original Sin City. So the app really came in handy, and I thank God I have the app on my cell phone. Anybody can get it at the App Store. It's On Cinema at the Cinema app on Movie Guide for 2014. And that way you can find out more about Sin City and the other movies of Bruce Willis. Greg, what were your reviews of Sin City?
Yeah, it was good. It's you know, if you've seen the original, you kind of know what to expect, and compare and contrast. You know, a lot of times with movies where there's a sequel, they make a mistake and they leave one of the key actors out of the sequel. You know, whether it's Back to the Future 2 without Crispin Glover, the movie was a flop. If you do this with Decker,
Well, we're
I
not
mean,
talking
it's
about
not
Decker,
really
we're
the
talking
same.
about Sin
It's-
City.
I know, but when you've established the world, it's like Joe Estevez and me and you as Decker, and to just leave a character that people like out of it, that's when you're running the risk. I mean, if you saw Jaws 2 and you're wondering, well, where's Richard Dreyfuss? And that's why it was half as successful as Jaws, you know. And these
Yeah, but
Star
something
Wars
like-
movies where they didn't have Mark Hamill, you know, the Phantom Menace, and people are just thinking to
I wouldn't
themselves,
go
why
ahead
didn't
and
they just
compare
make
yourself to Mark Hamill, okay? You were a bit player. You were almost a glorified extra.
That's
I don't
Mark
think anyone's
Hamill
gonna be-
started out as an extra too in things, but when you're getting fan mail like I'm getting and things, you
I
start to
don't give a
realize
shit
that
about those letters. They're all in the same handwriting. I know it was you. You can't
they
fool
weren't
me.
all in the same handwriting.
Yes, they were.
No, some of it was in cursive. That's not all the
I
same.
was blind, but now I can see. That was the same handwriting. I could tell.
But if you saw American Graffiti and you've got Ron Howard and you've got Wolfman Jack and this cast that you grow to love, and then the more American Graffiti comes out and it's a bunch of no names. Does anyone remember?
yeah,
more
but let me
American
give you an
Graffiti?
example.
Nobody remembers
Let me give you an
that.
example. Hunt for Red October starred Alec Baldwin. They replaced him with Harrison Ford to make Patriot Games and the other movies I can't remember. Those
Well,
movies
that's
were
it.
better
You
than,
can't remember them,
Yeah,
and
but
that's
those
my
movies
point
were
exactly.
more successful than Hunt for Red
Well,
October.
I don't think a movie that you can't remember is a successful movie.
I think Harrison Ford is
No,
probably
no
one of the
one's
most famous
forgetting
actors.
Gone with the Wind. No one's forgetting a movie that's successful.
All right. Well, they did it with Batman too. So,
Well,
anyways,
and the first one was the best of the Batman
give a
movies.
review for Sin City.
Yeah, 5 bags of popcorn, but I do think that it's a cautionary tale of how you can screw up a movie through not honoring the people that have made something what it is.
All right. We're doing another on location.
On Cinema on Location. This is
Okay.
a very special one. I
All
think
right,
you'll like it.
Let's run that.
Hollywood, California. Every street has a story, and these are but just a few on Cinema on location. Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of On Cinema at the Cinema on Location. Today we're at a very special movie location, the schoolhouse from Oh God, 1977's
Stop, thank
Oh
you.
God.
That's enough.
Is starring
Shut it off.
John Denver
Shut it off.
and George.
Just let it run.
No,
It's
I'm-
almost over anyway.
No, that's enough. I'm
The people
canceling
wanted
that
to see this segment.
You screwed up, Greg. I told you that there'd be hell to pay if you did that to me again, and you did it without
Did what?
listening.
I'm just giving you a good segment.
Enough of the on God segments. Nobody wants to hear that. That's it. Okay? I asked you not to do it, and you did it. I mean, any movie that was shot in L.A., you go out there and do one of your stupid segments for. Go to the Forest Lawn Cemetery and talk about Michael Jackson and The Wiz or something.
They didn't
I don't
shoot The
care.
Wiz at the cemetery.
Well, all I asked you to do is no more Oh God segments, and you did it, all right? So, do you have anything else? Can you do a popcorn classic?
I could do a popcorn classic, but I mean,
Do a popcorn classic.
but I'll tell you this: people are interested in where films were made.
I know, but they're not interested in where every scene from Oh God is filmed. You understand that? All right? So no more on locations from you because you don't learn your lesson. Throw to a popcorn classic. What do you got? You got it?
Yeah, I got one. Our popcorn classic today is IQ with Meg Ryan, Tim Robbins,
Swear to
and
God, you've done that one before.
that was Q&A. This is IQ.
No, you did IQ. Do we have a record of
we
the
did
popcorn
Q&A like
classic?
2 weeks ago.
No, like I'm talking last year we did IQ.
I don't think so.
Yep.
Q&A. Oh no, wait. I don't think
Is
so.
that with Albert Einstein and Walter Matthau and everybody?
That's it. He's Walter Matthau is Einstein, and maybe we did. This is the one where, well, it's a great movie. It's a comic genius.
What? Who is?
Just Walter Matthau, Meg Ryan, Stephen Fry, Tim Robbins.
All right. Well, that's really kind of a bummer, but
Oh, it's short notice. This is all that I had, so it's. I remember this one. This is a good one. Yeah, I've seen this a couple times. This is a classic. It's very funny.
all right.
Never underestimate the power of love. And Walter Matthau is always great. So
All right. Well, that's another. We recommend IQ again from On Cinema. All right. Thank you guys for watching. It's just I don't know what to tell you. Right? What is this? Junk.
that's not junk.
Drink the whole goddamn bottle.
Oh boy,
Where's my lip?
you forgot the flowers.
I'm sorry. You ever have one of those hangovers that make you feel like you got jackhammers going on in your head? I went to a biker bar last night for the first time in a long time, met some very cool guys, and stayed out till the f***ing place closed.
The Hangover. You ever see that one? Zach Galifianakis and Bradley Cooper. Very funny.
We got. Thanks for watching. Greg Turkington's with me as a guest. And sorry about that, guys. I'm not feeling well. I had a big one last night with the guys, my motorcycle guys. Old Roadhouse,
Where?
no, not far from Topanga Canyon, which is where a lot of the motorcycle guys hang out. But drank Jim Beam and all the rest of it,
Did you
beers.
tell them about your accident?
No. Didn't get into that. Told them about JH. I told them whenever they're in Jackson Hole, they got a place to crash on my floor. And I got a tattoo. Movies today, we got November Rain, starring Roger Pierce Bronson and Oleg Konio and Elizabeth Taylor. That's an ex-CIA operative is brought down in a mission against his former pupil in a deadly game involving CIA and the Russian president-elect.
Sounds like Jecker.
Yeah, it's got tone notes. Suddenly now, look at interesting how Hollywood's sort of perking their ears up, going,
Kind of comes full circle from Bond to Decker back
No.
to Pierce Brosnan, James Bond.
right, well, Pierce Brosnan, best known for his work on Bond, but not one of my favorites. I like this movie a lot. It was a lot of good intrigue and sort of adventure, and another way of putting it. I give it 4 bags of popcorn. Greg, what did you think of this November Rain? Man, I'm sorry, it's November Man.
Yeah, I loved it. I mean, it's just hard sometimes to focus when you watch a movie with an ex-Bond because you're thinking about past Bond glories and things like that, and it's just a struggle to maintain the focus on the movie you're supposed to be watching. I mean, Pierce Brosnan is my favorite Bond, so there's a lot to think about here. And so I was a little bit distracted. I feel like if I'd been completely absorbed in it, I would give it 5 bags of popcorn. And that's not the movie's fault, so I'm going to give it 5 bags of popcorn.
Great. 2, 5 bags, 10 bags of popcorn.
That's dinner for somebody.
Our next movie is Jezebel, starring Kevin Durant. Directed by Kevin Garrett. Sarah Snook, made up name. Mark Webber, Joel Carter. Returning to her childhood home in Louisiana to recover from a horrific car accident, I know a thing or two about that, Jezebel comes face to face with a tormented spirit that has been seeking her return. And this is basically a ghost movie, and it's different than some of the other ghost movies I've seen. Not as good, but
Like
I got
Ghost
right.
with Whoopi
It's not as-
Goldberg.
not as good of a movie as I would have liked, but I got to hand it to the director for making a great film. I really liked it. I give it 5 bags of popcorn, and I hope you watch it too.
I liked it. I mean, I don't like it as much as Ghost, which is sort of the gold standard of ghost movies. The dynamic duo, Patrick Swayze, Whoopi Goldberg, you're always going to
It's in
win.
my top 10 for sure.
It's a great movie. This movie, it does have its moments. It's scary, it's frightening. Anything with a ghost is frightening. That's the last thing you want, is to be haunted by a ghost. I was kind of haunted by the ghost of James Bond, in that I had just seen The November Man earlier in the day, and I sort of still had Bond on my mind. So it's kind of hard to keep my focus. When I did keep my focus, I liked what I saw. And I'm gonna have to give it 5 bags of popcorn and maybe a white sheet, like kids for Halloween would wear a white sheet and cut a couple holes in it. It's sort of a primitive ghost outfit. Not like the Klan, no, just for kids. It's very different than the Klan, but that's what we would wear you know, for Halloween back before you had the plastic masks from Avatar and all these popular movies. And I wish we'd had things like that back in the day, because they're better costumes.
All right, well, let's move things along, and we have I believe we have a popcorn classics from Greg.
No. I was going to do popcorn classics, but I sent you an email about this. Actually, we switched it over to do a different segment today. I was going to do
I
a
don't
popcorn.
check email.
All right. Well,
Okay, it's not on location.
No,
No.
not on location. It's actually a segment that you developed for the show called On Cinema on Guests, where we interview guests of the show and learn more about them.
Okay, what do you got? Larry Terman or?
No, just run the clip.
All right, let's see who Greg's interviewed. Himself, maybe. Let's take a Thanks for
Hi, Greg. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Hey, I'm doing this new segment for On Cinema called On Cinema on Guests, where we sort of get to know the guests that we've had on the show, and you were one of our most popular guests, so I was hoping to get an update. So what have you been up to lately?
I've been busy with baby. You know, Tim and I have a baby now. I named him Tom Cruise after his favorite actor. I don't know, he hasn't returned my call or anything, but he sent me money, so I bought a ticket to go back to America. I want Tim to meet our baby. I miss America. I miss you too.
Thank you. Well, we'd love to see you here.
Yay! See you guys soon.
Yes. Thanks for doing the interview.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
See you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, so that was On Cinema on Guests. Tim had to go make a phone call, and that wraps up another episode. See you next week. Just turn out the light. Just turn out the light. Just turn out the light. Here, just flick the switch.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the final episode of On Cinema at the Cinema. Thank you all for watching. It's been a tough couple of weeks for me. As soon as we wrap here, be honest with you guys, I am getting on my horse, as they say, and heading back to Jackson Hole, and we'll see if I ever come back, to be honest with you. because I really do miss it out there. I miss that clean air and my bison jerky and my new friends that I've made there, and simple living. I want to welcome my guest, Greg Turkington. We'll
Hey,
just
guys.
do our movies here real quick. And Dark Places, directed by Gilles Packet Brenner. I don't know what that is. What is that? Gilles Packet Paquet. It looks like the word racket, like racket, but with a P. Gilles Packet Brenner. Gilles. Paquet, is it French? Paquet Brenner. Yeah, we'll have to live with that one. Starring Charlize Theron, Chloe Grace Moritz, and Nicholas Hoult. A bunch of no names. I'm sick of looking at these movies that don't have people I know in them. Okay? Where the hell's Tom Hanks? Get Tom Hanks in there. You got to make more movies with Tom Hanks.
He's in a lot of movies.
He's not. A woman who survived the brutal killing of her family as a child is not enough.
Oh, there's only so many hours.
A woman
in
who
day.
survived the brutal killing of her family as a child is forced to confront the events of that day by a secret society obsessed with solving crimes. I could not bear to watch this movie. It was just there's too much kid stuff in it with babies and everything. I can't handle that right now. Can't handle that information. Okay? There's too much going on for me right now. I'm stacked. I'm up to my ears in shit. Everybody's giving me crap, wanting this and that from me. I cleared my. I sleep good at night knowing that I did what I thought was right.
Well, you sleep good at night because you haven't done anything. I'm the one that Ayaka comes knocking on my door,
She don't bring
crying
her
her
name up
eyes
on the
out,
show. You
crying
don't
her
bring her
eyes
name
out
up on
because
the
you won't
show.
let her into your place, and now she's sleeping on my couch, and I've got a baby screaming, and it's very hard.
Well, I don't want to
to
hear about
watch
that. I don't know why
movies with-
she's even here. She shouldn't have come over here. She doesn't have a student visa or anything like that.
Well, because she
don't belong
wanted
in
you
this country.
to meet your child.
I don't
and-
want to have anything to do with that. I told her exactly what to do with that kid 9 months ago, whenever that all thing went down. I told her exactly what to do with that. She didn't do it. That's her choice. That's a choice she lives with. But as far as I'm concerned, I have nothing to do with her. I'm going back on my motorcycle. I'm going back to Jackson Hole, and I'm going to see the people that I love out there. I don't love people here. I don't love them. All right? No, I'm not talking about it. You can be with her if you want. You can raise that child.
Well, I'm
I
not
don't
raising
think
the
that-
child, but the child's at my house right now.
I don't
because you
care where that kid could be the bottom of the ocean for all I care. He's not mine.
He looks just like you, so he's definitely yours.
I take no responsibility for that. The check was in the mail. What she did with that money is up to her.
Well,
It's
she's been
criminal
spending it on
negligence.
baby
Yeah, it's
food,
'cause
on
she's a
hospital bills, and she's spending on a flight for her and the baby to come out and see
Right.
the baby's father.
Well,
so that's what
I
she's
got
spending
news
it on.
for you.
And that's
She's
a better
not an
way.
American citizen, and she does not have the rights that you and I have. And
Well,
that-
the baby's an American citizen
no,
because
it's
the
not.
baby was
on
born
foreign soil.
from an American father.
Wrong. I'll take the paternity test. Who knows whose baby that is? She's been sleeping around, I heard.
No.
It's just not, it should be off air anyways. Nobody cares about this stuff.
Well, one thing that I care about is that when Ayaka came to my apartment from your place, she takes out of her suitcase the movie list that I had lost, that I thought I had lost back last season, where
she
I've been
stole the
keeping my 500 movies and 500. No,
she
she
stole the
didn't
list?
steal it. She found it, and you apparently had hidden it or something. I don't know if it's a prank or what it was, but since I had started a new count and I had gotten, at this point, I'm actually up to 200 on the new count. The good news is, for the viewers, is now I can take the previous list and add that seamlessly because there was never a day where I skipped movies. Add that to it.
All right,
So
nobody
now we
cares
have
about that list.
So now, with the 200 movies that I had seen, I can add the original list of 127, which puts me at 327, which means it's going to be in December that we reach number 500. So it's going to be this year. So that's very exciting. It's nice to get these back because this is a lot of time I put into these, and to have lost them was really upsetting. And so
All
I'll
right, well,
see everybody in December at
congratulations,
the
yeah.
Guinness Book induction
I
ceremony.
won't be there. I'll be in probably riding around on a motorcycle. And that's the end of On Cinema. because I'm done with this. I can't go and watch these movies and talk about this crap. It's a complete waste of my time. It's a waste of your time. I don't know what you're going to do. You're probably going to jump off a bridge without this show. But I'm out of here. I got to clean up my life. I got to get away from the people that are creating negativity in my life. And
Like
that's
yourself.
what I'm doing right now. No, I'm a perfect person. The people around me are flawed and full of shit. So thank you guys, and make up your own minds about what movies you should watch.
And what about
Who
the
cares
Green
what I think?
Inferno?
The Green Inferno? Didn't see it. Don't care. It's crap. Eli Roth. It's a bunch of junk. More important things in life than movies. That's a fact.
Yeah, like taking care of your baby.
No.
Well, anyway, it's a good movie. I'd give it 5 bags of popcorn.
Yes.
And
All right.
also
Well, it's
for
your
dark-
show now. Yeah. You're the host of On Cinema, and thank you for watching. Get the mug in the app so we can make some money back from all the money I spent on this goddamn show, and more Decker soon. We hope. Thank you guys.